Salutations, ladies and gents. It's Snuffle here again for at least the next day. One thing I wanted to talk about was, for context, as of recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on a Monday on a Wednesday or Thursday, it was a awareness day for child trafficking. To put it like mild, to just like lay it out there, bare bones. And it's there's not like a primary directive for like whatever I'm gonna say, but it's kind of a thing I was just thinking about in a manner of speaking. Because ignoring everything else, but like just I'll start off with like what is child trafficking, or just human trafficking in general, but predominantly children in this case. And trafficking is I would say the kidnapping and abduction of someone and exchanging them like they're a product for some kind of deal, whether it's sexual or slavery or something akin to that. I don't know. And that's what that is. And it's a wide issue. It's a widespread issue even now. I mean, if you ever have a missing child, you can't really know unless you find them, or something reveals, or someone finds them somewhere, if they were dead or like killed or something, or they were trafficked in some manner. It's a grim thing to think about. Like, to imagine that. And it's this, and paired with that, it's led to, understandably so, it's not like I don't like when people say it, but it's in the terms of, I would say, the shock of it, hearing of it, where someone's like, I can't imagine or like really think of how someone would ever think to do such a thing. But in the end, you need to accept that someone did. So someone had the capacity to do that. In the same way, we have a virtuous person acting virtuous, doing good. You have the same person doing the exact opposite. And in terms of that, it's of pure malevolence. They want to do that. They want to hurt whoever it is that they are hurting. And it's horrible. It's a thing that we kind of have to accept. That's a thing that happens. And the only way we can help is, for one, knowing and then acting. Which people like Tim Tebow is doing. And y'all should check out his work. But, that's how I even found out it was that day. But, anyway, it's a weird dichotomy. Because I'll say another example, in a way. There is a clip there was like a reel I saw on like Instagram, and it was a POV like kind of video of a child, and they were just like in the park or something playing around. It was just showing the world from her viewpoint. It was a little girl, it sounded like. And people, it was wholesome, but people also got a kind of bittersweet feeling. And I could completely understand why, because we see this little soul who is so innocent. And with their innocence, it makes someone who is benevolent want to care or protect them in some way. And that's completely understandable. And I think anyone should want to do that, especially for this. This little girl in question, at least in this case, is playing around in the park or the arcade and wants to spend time with mommy and daddy. Just an innocent little soul. But the bittersweet part comes in with the fact we know that a lot of kids have had that robbed away from them, or never had that at all. Like, I am pretty certain some, like, trafficked victims have been birthing victims without, out of their control. It's not something they can change. They're too weak and powerless to override their tyrannical abductors. And paired with their abuse, it in turn makes them a mother because they would get pregnant, and then the pregnancy is all the same. It's a deep-rooted thing that goes way beyond what we know now, completely. That's just something we have to accept as reality and something we need to help to stop, because as much as we can get distracted by other things like fucking Rome and the Gladiator, this is still happening. It's been happening. Now, what's another example that I want to point out? And this is mainly for people who deliberately avoid these kind of issues because it upsets their tummy a little. And I'm not saying it's not disgusting, but I don't think that's an excuse at all. It's not even a good reason. Now, the example I draw from is those recent files for the Epstein case a couple months ago. And it's a specific one. I only found out about it because Alex Jones made a post on X, I think, and he showed it, I think. And if you look up and it's still on there. You can literally look it up right now with the term several Caucasian men. But the file had some report, and on the bottom page it had a blacked out photo. And below that was a paragraph describing what was in it. What exactly encompassed the viewpoint of whatever camera or audio or photographic device they used. And I remember it vividly. I was disturbed by it reading it. I stopped almost halfway through, but I read it over again. We have to know. And what did it show? I'll paraphrase a little because it's very grotesque and just, I would say, diabolical. In a genuine sense, not in some meme way. It had a girl, and I would guess she's in the middle of the screen. I don't know how zoomed out it was or not. It was completely blacked out. We saw nothing. And she appeared, at least in appearance, she appeared to be prepubescent, where she hasn't gone through puberty, which means she was at least less than 14 years old. I think that's the age, at least, when puberty really kicks in. But she was less than that, and I would guess she probably had a gentle tan or olive skin tone or something, or maybe she was white. She had dark, medium length, black or dark brown hair. And her legs were held spread open. Her nether region was it was visible. There was a gash in it. There was some blood coming out, and there was a hand holding something in that area, but it's not definable if it was pushing it in whatever the person was holding, or if it was just holding it there. But that was something. There was a bruise on her underside of her left thigh, I think. And among the bruise on her abdomen was another on, I believe, her cheek, and one around here on either side of her neck. I don't know if it's both. And her mouth was more or less open. There was I think there was a bruise under her eye, and her tongue was extended. And there was a number of men in the photo. A number of them, hence the several Caucasian men. Now, there's... I would also like to... And paired with the people who draw themselves away from the situation because it's disturbing. And I get it. Especially with what some of these files can imply. Or even if we're outside of the files, we're looking at other cases of human trafficking or anything like that. I understand like not wanting to like the grimy details. I wouldn't either, but for me, it's I want to know exactly what exactly we're dealing with, because then if we don't know what we're dealing with, then we don't know how to help them if we find someone and save them. And paired with that, like with that girl, because I don't think it was like she was identified. Furthermore, because we don't have an image of her. Regardless of whatever was revealed by the Congress viewing. But it's something I would believe we should all take into consideration, especially with now we're worried about the movie The Odyssey, and then we're worried about this thing and other thing and this thing, whenever this is still apparent. Is with that little girl, we have a little girl there, and simply put, that was someone's daughter. That was likely someone's niece. That was someone's granddaughter, no doubt. Someone could have been the godfather of that little girl. That could have been someone's big sister, or maybe little sister, or the youngest sister, or an only child. A dog's beloved human. A teacher's nice and cheery student. That could have been we have no idea. You have no clue. And paired with that, there's also this other grievance I have. And here's an example, and I think I've said it before, but there's another file in there. This is kind of a 2-in-1 thing, because the Epstein thing kind of correlates with the trafficking in a way. There's a lot of implications there. But my issue is people jumping the gun and making assumptions or presumptuous statements beyond like what may have happened. And for example, there's one where it was a conversation between two people, and one of them was like, "Oh, this girl was like scared, but now she's not because she thinks Jesus is watching her." And the person says, "Oh, well, you should dress up as him next time you see her." And people make posts saying, "This is completely arbitrary things." One is like, "Yeah, this is why God is real, because even though she was like, she got this and this after this message, she still believed and trusted in Christ to keep her safe and whatever," or something else. You're like, "I can't believe these people, they did this and this," and it was never stated they did anything to them. There was other posts I remember about these files containing allegations of, I would say, more substantial things, but this is a bit different. That's ambiguous, and paired with the file I mentioned earlier, which is for certain, because in that image, they took the time to stop whatever they were doing to take a snapshot of that little girl's suffering. We pay almost no fucking attention to that. I'm not saying like no one cared, but with the lack of information, we cannot just go off into some random direction because you look stupid. It's like a horrible thing, because this is like a generally serious situation, at least with what is implicated, and then paired with just trafficking as a whole. The truth is the most valuable thing for this to go forward in any manner. Like, we have to, because same with those men in that file, they had the capacity to do that and then take a picture. And you can't even distinguish between bullshit and then what is actually said. Was that one girl like violated in some way? Perchance, but I'm not gonna just make a claim because I have no clue. I do not know. Same with the one with the blacked out image. Is that what happened to her? That has way more evidence suggesting it did than this single image about them cosplaying as Christ. And then same with the others. It's not saying that it didn't happen, because I'm saying I don't know. and I haven't looked in the files in a while. And also, I don't want to like keep talking about it, but it's like I think it's a good point to draw from, because that shows that I would argue hysteria. Because then we make these points based on our own presumptions and then throwing conspiracies with it without, and I'm not confirming I believe in any of them or don't. But we just throw a lot of shit in the water and then we don't know what we're going to grab. We're trying to grab the apple like you're dunking your head, and then you grab like a sardine or something. Like you have no fucking clue. Like I wouldn't make a bet with my like finger. It's ridiculous. Because we need to be smarter about it, because then more kids will suffer. That we may not have been able to save that girl, or possibly the one in that one back and forth conversation, if she's dead. Do we know? We do not. But if we consistently look for the truth and then keep acting and not avoid this because it upsets our stomach, then we'll save more people. Save more kids and then other people who are trafficked, and lay some exposure, lay some hate, some fire and brimstone on the wicked here. That's something that needs to happen. Not to be like religious or anything, but like it's in same as like people who are like, yeah, that's how I know God isn't real, because like this happens. Well, what the fuck were you doing? Like I saw a post today and it was like, yeah, if God is real and I just get like up to get judged by him, I'm not gonna lay down and worship him. I'm gonna ask him, if he loves us so much, why did he let us suffer? And simply put, why didn't you do anything? Not as in that to God, but to the person. Because half of it is complaints. Same with that and this. But, yeah, anyway, that is sort of the main point. That I would say just as much as we have saints, we have sinners in a very bad way. And the only way to go against that is to become the saint, to exorcise the demon. Or the priest, I guess you would more accurately say. And then complaining, especially when people are like talking about God and like saying, well, why didn't he save them? Well, why didn't you do anything? And even then, there's a simple factor. You can't save everyone. That's it. That's really it. But you can't save everyone, but you can save someone, despite the minimal effort or anything. That's something I believe. But that was about it. So, see ya.